Hello everyone, welcome to another series of today's GK. Let's begin with previous day's practice question. Question was, which among the following Constitutional Amendment Act authorized the Parliament to establish a common high court for two or more states? First Constitutional Amendment Act, Third Constitutional Amendment Act, Fifth or Seventh Constitutional Amendment Act. The correct answer is option D, Seventh Constitutional Amendment Act. The Delhi High Court upheld the validity of the Agnipath military recruitment scheme recently. In the Indian single integrated judicial system, the High Court operates below the Supreme Court but above the subordinate courts. The High Court occupies the top position in the judicial administration of a state. The institution of High Court originated in India in 1862 when the High Courts were set up at Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. In 1866, a fourth High Court was established at Allahabad. The Constitution of India provides for a High Court for each state, but the 7th Amendment Act of 1956 authorized the Parliament to establish a common High Court for two or more states or for two or more states and a union territory. Therefore, option D is correct. Majority of the answers in the comment section were correct. Keep answering like this. Now let's begin today's session. It refers to the phenomenon in which when a stream of light passes through a liquid, a fraction of the light scattered by the liquid is of a different color. What is the name of this phenomenon? Callippic cycle, Baldwin effect, Raman effect or Van Hove singularity? The correct answer is option C, Raman effect. In 1986, the Government of India designated February 28 as National Science Day to commemorate the announcement of the discovery of the Raman effect. This year's edition is being celebrated under the theme of Global Science for Global Well-being in light of India's G20 presidency. The Raman effect refers to the phenomenon in which when a stream of light passes through a liquid, a fraction of the light scattered by the liquid is of a different color. This happens due to the change in the wavelength of light that occurs when a light beam is deflected by molecules. In general, when light interacts with an object, it can either be reflected, refracted or transmitted. One of the things that scientists look at when light is scattered is if the particle it interacts with is able to change its energy. The Raman effect is when the change in the energy of the light is affected by the vibrations of the molecule or material under observation, leading to a change in its wavelength. Therefore, option C is correct. Next question is, recently the term Alux was in the news. It is related to Kuiper Belt, airplane hydraulic system, global navigation system or Mayan civilization. The correct answer is option D, Mayan civilization. Mexican president claimed a blurry dark photo of a tree at night showed a figure from Mayan mythology as depicted in a historic sculpture from the Mayan civilization. According to Mayan mythology, Aluxes are small, mischievous creatures that inhabit forests and fields and play tricks on people like hiding things. It adds that some people leave small offerings to appease them. Therefore, option D is correct. The larger Mayan civilization reached its zenith between 300 AD to 900 AD. It is recognized as one having significant cultural heft in its time, with innovations in farming, stone architecture, mathematics, and astronomy, as well as large-scale human sacrifices as part of religious rituals. It spanned present-day Mexico, Honduras, and Guatemala in Central America. Next question is, which of the following best explains the role of AIM-4C? It seeks to address climate change and global hunger. It works for the elimination of marine pollution. It seeks to mitigate the losses caused by natural disasters, or it promotes organic farming in Europe. The correct answer is option A. It seeks to address climate change and global hunger. Recently, India has joined a global platform AIM-4C launched by US and the UAE. The Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate, or AIM for Climate, Aim for Sea is a joint initiative by the United States and the United Arab Emirates. It was launched in November 2021. It seeks to address climate change and global hunger by uniting participants to increase investment in and other support for climate-smart agriculture and food systems innovation over 5 years, that is 2021 to 2025. Therefore, option A is correct. Participation in AIM for climate is voluntary. Next question is, in the context of space technologies, the ultraviolet transient astronomy satellite or ULTRASAT is associated with which of the following countries? Japan, India, Israel, or South Korea? The correct answer is option C, Israel. NASA will launch Israel's first space telescope mission, the Ultraviolet Transient Astronomy Satellite or ULTRASAT. ULTRASAT, an ultraviolet observatory with a large field of view, will investigate the secrets of short-duration events in the universe, such as supernova explosions and mergers of neutron stars. Led by the Israel Space Agency and Weizmann Institute of Science, ULTRASAT is planned for launch in geostationary orbit around Earth in early 2026. In addition to providing the launch service, NASA will also participate in the mission's science program. Its wide field of view will allow it to quickly discover and capture ultraviolet light from sources in the cosmos that change on short time scales. Therefore, option C is correct. Next question is, with reference to Indian arts and culture, the term Keisabadi is referred to folk dance in Gujarat, folk dance in Odisha, caves belonged to Jainism, or architecture technique used in Rajasthan. The correct answer is option B, folk dance in Odisha. Keisabadi is the popular folk dance form of Odisha. Therefore, option B is correct. Performed only by men, the songs used to support the dance performance conveys the love life of Lord Krishna and Goddess Radha. The songs are sung in the local language Kosli. Sometimes the dancers wield sticks and use them to strike the sticks of their fellow dancers. Many formations are made by the dancers and the striking of sticks is in sync with the tempo of the song. The song is first sung by the leader of the group, who is then joined by his fellow men. It is performed during festivals. Next question is, the Mongoloid Shompen Tribe is associated with which of the following biosphere reserve in India? The Great Nicobar, Nanda Devi, Cold Desert, or Panna? The correct answer is option A, the Great Nicobar. Great Nicobar Development Project was recently in news. Great Nicobar is the southernmost island of the Nicobar Islands archipelago. In terms of fauna, there are over 1800 species, some of which are endemic to this area. The Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve harbors a wide spectrum of ecosystems comprising tropical wet evergreen forest, mountain ranges reaching a height of 642 meters. In terms of fauna, there are over 1800 species, some of which are endemic to this area. The region also harbors a large number of endemic and endangered species of fauna. The region is noted for its rich biodiversity. The Mongoloid Shompen tribe live in the forest of the Biosphere Reserve, particularly along the rivers and streams. They are hunters and food gatherers, dependent on forest and marine resources for sustenance. Therefore, option A is correct. Next question is, consider the following statements regarding the Chief Justice of India or CJI. 1. The first CJI was Justice Harilal 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢. 2. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud is the 50th Chief Justice of India. Which of the statement or statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2? The correct answer is option C, both 1 and 2. Recently, the Chief Justice of India has stressed about the need for reforms in medical education in India. Article 124(1) of the Constitution says that there shall be a Supreme Court of India consisting of a Chief Justice of India and other judges. Article 124(2) states that every judge of the Supreme Court shall be appointed by the President by warrant under his hand and seal. The senior-most judge of the Supreme Court becomes CJI. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud is the 50th Chief Justice of India. He will be CJI for a little more than 2 years until November 10, 2024. The first CJI was Justice Harilal 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢. Hence, statement 1 and 2 are correct. Therefore, option C is correct. Next question is, consider the following: 1. Dinesh Goswami Committee, 2. Vohra Committee, 3. Indrajit Gupta Committee. Which of the committee given above is or are associated with electoral reforms in India? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3? The correct answer is option D, 1, 2 and 3. India is the largest democracy in the world. In this context, free and fair election and independence of the Election Commission of India is very important. The various committees and commissions which have examined our electoral system, election machinery, as well as election process and suggested reforms are mentioned below. Dinesh Goswami Committee on Electoral Reforms 1990, hence statement 1 is correct. Vohra Committee on the Nexus Between Crime and Politics 1993, hence statement 2 is correct. Indrajit Gupta Committee on State Funding of Elections 1998, hence statement 3 is also correct. Therefore, option D is correct. Law Commission of India 170th Report on Reform of the Electoral Laws 1999, National Commission to Review the Working of the Constitution 2000 to 2002, and Law Commission of India 244th Report on Electoral Disqualifications 2014. Next question is, with reference to the International Monetary Fund, consider the following statements. 1. It issues an international reserve asset known as special drawing rights. 2. It is accountable to only Western countries. Which of the above given statement or statements is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2? The correct answer is option A, 1 only. Recently, the International Monetary Fund or IMF has laid out a 9-point action plan for how countries should treat crypto assets. The IMF was conceived in July 1944 at the United Nations Bretton Woods Conference. It was formed to avoid repeating the competitive currency devaluations that contributed to the Great Depression of the 1930s. The IMF issues an international reserve asset known as special drawing rights or SDRs that can supplement the official reserves of member countries. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The IMF is accountable to its member country governments. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Therefore, option A is correct. The day-to-day work of the IMF is overseen by its 24-member executive board, which represents the entire membership and is supported by IMF staff. The managing director is the head of the IMF staff and chair of the executive board and is assisted by 4 deputy managing directors. Last question is, in the context of India's defense exports, which of the following is not correct? India's defense export value till December 2022 had reached Rs 6,058 crore. The major defense items being exported are personal protective items, offshore patrol vessels, ALH helicopter, etc. India aims to raise India's annual defense exports to $5 billion by 2024-25. Or India's defense exports have grown by 34% in the past 5 years. The correct answer is option D. India's defense exports have grown by 34% in the past 5 years. India aims to raise India's annual defense exports to $5 billion by 2024-25 from the $1.5 billion currently. This was reiterated by the Prime Minister of India at the recently concluded Aero India 2023 in Bengaluru. In the past few years, there has been a strong government push towards achieving self-reliance in defense, which is subsequently expected to increase India's defense exports as well. India's defense export value till December 2022 had reached Rs 6,058 crore. The major defense items being exported are personal protective items, offshore patrol vessels, ALH helicopter, SU avionics, Bharti radio, coastal surveillance systems, etc. India's defense exports have grown by 334% in the past 5 years. Hence, option D is correct. Now it's time for the practice question. Clean Plant Centers was recently in news. What is its main objective? To boost ethanol production, to boost fruit crop production, to boost millets production, or to boost vegetables production? Send the answer of this question in the comment section. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching.